Hi, my name's Shell, and today I want to show you how you can scrapbook your videos. We're going to be using an online software program through a company called Tailspring. That's www.tailspring.com. And I'm going to show you how you can add the little video clips that you can take either with your video camera, or most cameras nowadays have the option of taking video. I have a few video clips that I've never been able to use, and I'm excited to be able to add those to my scrapbooking. So the first thing that we need to talk about is using the Tailspring. The size of a screen when it's shared, it's designed for iPhones and iPads, and so they have the size of the screen set at 1024 wide, 1024 pixels wide by 768 tall. So in your photo editing program, you need to open a new document which with a width set to 1024 pixels and a height set to 768 pixels. Um, the resolution isn't really important. I'm going to leave it at 300 pixels per inch for now. You will notice that that means that my document at 300 pixels per inch is going to be about 3.5 inches wide and about 2.5 inches tall. That would mean that as I was creating this scrapbooked page, I would have to shrink everything down, which is kind of annoying. And so the first thing that I would recommend you do is resize it to a proportion that you're more used to working with. If we change the width to 12 inches, the height is 9 inches. And that way all of the digital scrapbook supplies that you typically use will be in the right proportion or the right size. So first I would switch it up to this size, and then at the end we'll shrink it back down to the Tailspring size. The second thing we need to talk about is video. The video formatting that is allowed on Tailspring is a .mp4 format or a .mv4 format. If your camera does not record in one of those formats, I found by Googling there were several free video converters. I was using one video from my iPad and it wasn't in that format, and I was able to change things either with a converter or inside of some video editing software. And you may decide that you want to edit some videos in the future. I use Camtasia because that's the software that I use to edit my tutorials, and so I also tried that as well. The second thing that you need to know is what proportion your video is, because much like in scrapbooking, you don't want to distort the people's images. You don't want to do that in your video scrapbooking either. So you need to know what proportion your video is. You can change the size, just not the proportion. And so the easiest way for me to do that is to do a copy of my screen, a print screen or a save the screen, and then open that up inside of Photoshop. Then from inside of there, I can use the rectangle tool to capture just the part of the screen that will be the video. Copy that and place it on my new document. Now remember, I can change the size of this. I can go, up or down or whatever I need to do, but I cannot change the proportion. It needs to stay that same size. Now make sure if you're going to do any video editing that you do it before you find out what size that is. It might end up that you crop off part of it or that you save it that way. So once your video editing is done, then you can find out what size it is and work on scrapbooking it. Tailspring is not designed as scrapbooking software. It doesn't have drop shadows. And so in order to add your own drop shadows, you need to do that inside of your video or inside of your scrapbooking software. The easiest way I like to do that, normally if it were a picture, I would use the stroke command, but if you stroke outside the video, then you'll get kind of those curves on the corner that will make it inconsistent with the other things that I'm doing. In Tailspring, videos are always on top. That's because of the limitations of the iPad capabilities. In those medium formats, or being able to show your videos on those formats, they require that the video be in the front. And so in the future, Tailspring may be able to offer ways to not have your video be the topmost element, but for now it is the topmost element. And so if you want to add a drop shadow, you can do that behind, but you cannot add a stroke over top of it, obviously. So the way that I do that is hold down Alt and drag it down so that I've got a new layer, and then make it just slightly bigger. Hold down the Alt key so that I get The same on all sides. And then I'm going to cover that with white because I want my stroke to be white. Okay, so there, and then I can add a drop shadow. Whoops. Add your favorite drop shadow to it. And then I'm going to type on top of this so that I remember while I'm scrapbooking. I'm going to type video on top of that so I remember. And I'm going to link that word and the video, or my image that's acting in the place of the placeholder for my video, together so that as things move around, I'll know that that is the part that I meant to be the video. Okay, the next step is to scrapbook your page, including a spot for that video. This video tutorial is not about scrapbooking your page. I'm going to fast forward to having my page completely done in layered format, and then I'll go on with the next steps that you need to do. Okay, here is my layered scrapbooked page. You can see that the video is down here on the bottom. It's not the feature of my layout. My layout is about the parade, and so I just added it in as a little clip, but I think even in that size it will be kind of fun to watch. I have my layers over here organized a little bit. The top two are my video. I will not need to save those because I'll be adding the video in the Tailspring software. Then the next section is my title, because you see there's no journaling on my page here. I'm going to have the journaling and telling the story as an audio clip that when people click on or touch the word country, it will be an audio recording of me telling the story. I used GarageBand to make my audio clip, but you can make audio clips, and again, you can find converters if you need to for that format. The format for audio clips has to be a .mp3 format. And I even found a tutorial for how to change formats inside of iTunes. Okay, so let's link all of those, the word country, let's merge those layers together. Don't forget they all have drop shadows. Remember, there's no drop shadowing in Tailspring, so you have to add your own ahead of time. The rest of what's on in the stack, or what I would call everything else, we're going to now call the background. Remember, that background includes the white stroke, or that white outline that I put on for my video there. Okay, now we need to save things, but remember we need to resize. So let's do image resize and change the width back to 1024 wide. That'll be 768 tall. I'm going to save that as, I always try to give the name something that I'll be able to find when I'm trying to upload inside of Tailspring later. So I'm going to save that one as country background. Save it as a JPEG format. And then I also need to save the title country. Now, if I were to save it in this entire size, it would be easy to get it in the right placement in Tailspring, but it would defeat the purpose because whatever the layer size is what has to be clicked on. So then it wouldn't matter if you clicked on country, it would still tell the journaling. And so because of that, I want to crop it down. Now remember that we have a drop shadow on here, so we have to be a little bit careful. We can't go just barely inside of it. And I don't think it's not critical that it's an exact placement, but we're going to crop it to right here. And we're going to save that one as country title in PNG format. Country title should not be JPEG. It should be a PNG format. Okay, now we're ready to go into Tailspring and upload everything because we have our country background, I have the country title, I have my video, and I also have my audio of telling the story, and those are the things that I will need in order to make this video scrapbook page.